The new gameplay mechanics and everything like that. So you see, first up here we have Shelley. Now Shelley doesn't have any balance changes, but her shot does look a little bit different. And you're going to notice a lot of the brawlers, basically all of their shot patterns have changed. I think there's only a handful that we will see during this video that actually have stayed the exact same. But so Shelley's going to work the same. She's going to look a little bit different. Her shot pattern is just a little, I don't know, it's just a little bit graphically different. 0.3%. So that means that her bear's going to heal up as she heals as well. You see her shot does look different. A few of the brawlers have this new kind of, I don't even know what to call it, like pixely kind of like meteor looking shot. I don't know, guys, but it looks really good in my opinion. It's better than the rocks. I really like it specifically with Nita because her old shot, her shot like graphics, they look. It was kind of hard to see where the shot was going. This is like super clear and very easy to see. So you see right here, we get the bear down, and we get a couple shots on. We're just playing against bots here to show you, but you see it does make a pretty big difference. Even just that extra couple hundred health, going from 300 to 500 on the bear, it is going to last a little bit longer, and I think it's going to make Nita a little bit more viable in some other game modes that you might not have been able to use her in as often. Like, you know, she is very good at balancing kind of everything, but you know, it's just a good minor buff, and I think we're going to see Nita a little bit more. Okay, so next up we got Colt. Now, Colt doesn't have any balance changes, but he looks a lot different. So Colt got a pretty major rework in terms of his regular skin. You see right there, he always walks around, he's got the two guns pointed, and he's shooting those blue bullets, similar to how Shelley looked before as well. Okay, so next up we got Bull, and Bull was affected a little bit, I think. Or no, Bull was not touched by the balance changes, but you see right here, he does look basically the same, no major reworks or anything. He does do, I thought he got touched. I guess not. I thought he was doing more damage at range, but yes, that was a mistake, guys. I guess that was a mistake. So either way, he looks different. He looks like just his shot pattern again. Most of the shot patterns have changed, as you can see with the enemy ricochet, who we're gonna get into a little bit more in a second. The chicken's just having too much fun taking down these bots with Bull. But alright, so there we go. So there's Bull. Now we're diving into Jessie, guys. And Jessie got a... did Jessie get touched up? No, she didn't, eh? So Jessie's going to stay the same. But her shot, it's going to be that blue orb energy kind of looking thing. Again, looks pretty cool. Easier to see, easier to track, easier to aim and bounce off your enemies, because Jessie obviously gets that... she gets that kind of ricochet effect as well. We can bounce off the turret there. It's still gonna heal her pet turret for 800 health as soon as it does get damaged. So let me know what your favorite change is down below in the comments, guys, and what you're most looking forward to. I know there was talk of a new brawler coming, but if that were to be the case, what would you hope for it to be? What do you think needs to be added to the game? In the chicken's opinion, I would like to see another tank. The tank brawlers are kind of my favorite to play. You know, I really like the changes to Frank that we're going to get into a little bit in a few minutes here. But, yeah, Frank's probably going to be my favorite tank to play after these balances. Star power damage of plus 25%. Not super noticeable, honestly. I do try to make it work here at one point, but... I mean, Brock's star power is just the flames under his shot. They do a little bit more damage, so it does work. I mean, if you're able to get everyone there, like we just did, and you get like a Barley, or you get somebody else that does splash damage shooting on top of them, and you have everyone kind of stuck in that circle for a second, it is like pretty significant damage that they are going to take. And since Brock does such a massive amount of damage just on his regular shots anyways, that's pretty good. And also he's going to, you can see right here, his rockets look different. They're actually a little bit bigger than his previous shots, so it's easier to see. Because it was kind of weird with Brock before. I remember specifically getting hit by shots. I was like, what? That didn't hit me. Like, I wasn't even close. So it's good that the shot actually reflects more of the size of his actual shots than what it did before. So it's easier to kind of space away from it. And it's easier to hit people as well because you know exactly where the shot is going to be going. So there's Brock. Now we're going to be diving into... we got Dynamite here. Now, Dynamite was unchanged in these untouched in these balance changes, but yeah, Dynamite basically looks the exact same. There wasn't any major changes that I noticed to him. He's gonna work the same. He's gonna look the same. So if you're a Dynamite, then don't worry. He is going to basically remain the exact same. Yeah. So next, we're going to get into. Somebody else, Chickens again having too much fun taking down these bots, guys. But yeah, it's gonna be exciting. So make sure to stay. All star power invisibility goes down. His base damage goes up. So they're gonna try to make Bo a little bit more viable in things besides Snake Prairie Bounty and Island Invasion Showdown. Where there's just a ton of bushes, and he's able to see through them, obviously. So, now his base damage, just playing around with it a little bit against these bots, it is good, but I don't think it makes him necessarily... I don't think people are going to start picking a Bow in Gem Grabber or in Showdown any more than they were before. Sure, he's a little bit better if you did really like Bow. You know, there's no reason that you can't use them, but there's definitely better options for. So Primo star power damage is going to go up 33.3%. So Primo star power is when you do the Primo body slam on his super. Once you have his star power, it's going to turn everyone into flames. It's going to leave a flaming spot on the ground, just like Brock's that we saw earlier. So, and it's just going to do a little bit more damage. So we're going to use it right here, and we're going to tag all three of these guys. And you see it does do some pretty significant damage. And the big thing about Primo Super is that it does have a little bit of knockback on it, so it kind of delays them a little bit. So that extra... Increase main attack damage per second from 600 to 640. Increase super damage per second from 480 to 640. When throwing the super close to Barley, the spread of the bottles is now much larger. Also, the damage from the super's different bottles do not stack anymore. So you see right here, I'm showing you the range of his super. It's a little bigger, especially in close. But you see right here, we don't actually kill this Poco because the I had to get an extra shot up there on him, but because the super damage doesn't stack, which is interesting. So, there's the super range. It's absolutely massive now. Doesn't do as much damage, but he gets more healing back from it. And Barley's going to be scary, man. He's going to be scary in Heist. He's going to be scary in all the game modes he was already good in. And, you know, he's going to be a monster in Gem Grab, of course, in all the 3v3 game modes. Star power, his healing is going to go up plus 25%. Increased star power healing, which makes it go from 400 to 500. And he also shoots out music notes now, which is pretty cool. It's it looks a little bit different. It looks a little bit cleaner. Even his super looks a little bit different there, guys. So Poco's looking good, and he's going to get that extra heal. I don't think he's going to replace Pam yet as the best healer in the game currently, but he's definitely you know, he's definitely very good at what he's good at. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're not going to see it, you know, it's not like we're going to see a ton of Poco right now. Ricochet. Main attack is going to go up 7.1%, which basically means, I'm just going to find it here. His main attack damage goes from 280 to 300, but that's exponential because as soon as Ricochet star power is when you bounce his shot off the walls, it does even more damage. So having that higher base damage affects all of his damage for everything. His super, his you know, his bouncing Ricochet shots. I think this is gonna make and I think his name's actually changed to Rico instead of Ricochet or whatever. I think it's going to make him a little bit more viable in some of the game modes that he wasn't being used in before. especially when the game went 3D, it also kind of hurt him just based on the shape of the maps and stuff. It was a little bit harder to use him as you're supposed to use him, bouncing shots off walls and things like that. But yeah, he's gonna be 10%. His attack damage per shell is going up 7%. Which works out to his increased star power shield protection from 30 to 40, like we said, and increase main attack damage per shell from 260 to 280. So, the increase in main attack damage makes him a little bit more viable at longer range. He doesn't have to get in close, but when he does, oh my god, look out, guys. I feel like Darryl is going to be an absolute monster after these balance changes. Just playing around with him a little bit. You know, obviously I'm playing against bots, so they're going to be silly, so I don't want you guys to take any set of context. Be like, oh my god, look, like he's just running up and just killing them. Like, it's not going to be like that. Oh, and Spike looks really cool, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I think Darryl's going to be a beast. Looking forward to using him. So next up, we have Penny. And Penny was untouched basically by everything. Penny's going to remain completely the same. Her shot looks the same. Her skins look the same. Her balance, I don't think anything changed about her in the balance changes. Yeah, I'm surprised that they didn't change something about her mortar, because that was, you know, something a lot of people were kind of complaining about previously, that it was too strong and that it was too weak, and then the star power of having it explode and shoot the bombs out was kind of useless. So I'm sure they'll change Penny down the road again, but you know, she's still very good. She's not overpowered like when she first came out and everybody was using her for everything, and she was just the most dominant brawler in the game. But yeah, I don't think we're gonna see a ton more people using Penny, because the other balance changes have just made some of these other brawlers just a far better option. So there is Penny. And next up, who do we got next, Chicken? We get too distracted. I tried to keep each one of these clips to 15 seconds, but then I get into the game of playing these bots and stuff, and it's just kind of silly. But either way, okay. So there we go. So next up we got Pam. Pam was untouched by the balance changes, guys, but she's the best healer in the game, in my opinion. You see her shots, her scrapyard or whatever it's called. They do look a little bit different. When she throws down her super, you get that kind of flashy graphic there for half a second. Pam's still very good. When she shoots her shot, she does plus 30%, I believe, heal to anyone within her radius around her. You see, she does pull up that healing circle around her, just similar to the healing station. But yeah, Pam's still very good. Didn't need a buff, didn't need a nerf, in my opinion. I think she's pretty solid where she is right now. A good counter to Leon, a good counter to some other really strong brawlers at the moment. And next up, we got Piper. Piper was also unchanged, but her shot does look different. So her shot's a little bit bigger. Just a graphic of it, I don't think it actually changed size to where it would shoot somebody where it wouldn't before or anything. But the colors look different. It stands out a little bit more. I'm all for that. I'm all for you know, the shots just being easier to track and look at. Not that was like a huge problem before, but it is nice when it's, you know, a little bit brighter and easier to see. I think that's a good thing for it. I think that's a good thing for everyone in general. So yeah, nothing too crazy to report. Star power increase from 30 to 40%. So, the biggest thing with Frank is the star power no longer leaves a purple skull. Instead, when Frank defeats a brawler, he instantly gains a buff that increases his damage by 40% for 10 seconds. So this is kind of similar to Mortis's, and just playing around with it, it seems really good. To instantly get it and not have to run and pick up the skull is honestly a pretty huge change. And he's got the graphic effect as well of these new guys, I don't know what you call them, these new kind of, you know, meteor-looking blue orb shot things. You guys come up with a name, because clearly I can't. But yeah, it looks way better. It looks a lot cleaner. Looks more polished. Big fan of that. And I love the fact that he just gets that instant boost. It makes him really fun to play, honestly. It's kind of like getting like a mini rage spell on your Frank, just for playing. Like, you get to be awarded for being more aggressive, which is really cool. It just feels better. It suits his playstyle, and I think a lot of people are going to start picking up Frank just basically. Up as well. No more green skulls. Increased main attack and super damage from 800 to 900. Star power no longer leaves a green skull. Instead, when Mortis defeats a brawler, he instantly gains 1800 health. Now, Chicken is a big fan of the game Bloodborne. This reminds me a lot of playing Bloodborne, because when it's like being awarded for playing super aggressively, right? You get a little bit of health back for being able to go in and just kind of do as much work as you can. The bats do more damage. He does more base damage. So I think Mortis is going to be very viable in a lot of the game modes that we didn't see him commonly before. Now, being that he's a melee brawler and doesn't have any range, he's still at a pretty significant disadvantage there to more common brawlers. Shotgun brawler, Shelley, Bull, Colt is going to be able to, like, a lot of the very commonly used brawlers are going to be able to counter Mortis very easily. But I feel like he's going to be a beast now. He's going to be like right in the top. He's like A or B tiers now, rather than down lower at the bottom and kind of only use the Brawl Ball. And with the changes that came to Brawl Ball, he's not even. So Shadow Terror got a rework. So increased star power pet damage from 200 to 400. Increased pet health from 2000 to 2400. So basically what that means, guys, is her star power, the Shadow Terror that pops out, gets a health buff and a damage buff. So it makes her Shadow Terror a little bit better. Which is good, because I felt like it was just too easy to kill before. You see right here, obviously the bots are going to be too dumb to actually shoot it, but it does do some pretty significant damage, and it definitely helps and distracts a little bit longer with that extra health, and it allows Terra to get some shots off. And you can see right there, her cards do look a little bit different as well. So Spike got a major graphic change. He didn't get any balance changes, but his shot looks super cool now. I mean, look at the spike trap. Like, it's just so nice looking. And I like that it goes off his name too, and it's more about like spikes than it is cactus. So you see right there, we had another new spike going in on us. Spike's been a monster, and he's going to continue to be. And he looks a little bit better right now, in my opinion. So next up, we got Mr. Crow. Crow was untouched in these balance changes. I think Crow needs a bit of a tweak, but that remains to be seen, I guess. I feel like he needs to do more upfront damage and less poison tick damage, but we'll see if that ends up coming to the game or not anytime soon. And his shot looks basically the same, and the way he looks, all that stuff is pretty well unchanged, I think. You guys can let me know that down below in that comment section, but yeah, so there's Crow. Nothing too crazy. And then next up we got Leon, guys. So Leon was probably the biggest thing that everyone was going to be looking at for this balance update. So what they did was they decreased his main attack damage from 500 to 460 at close range. So at a distance, he's still going to do the same amount of damage, but it's very hard to line up all your shots when you're at a distance unless you're timing it perfectly. But he's still a monster. I wish they didn't rework him this way. I wish they got rid of the 4-tile exposure on his super, and just bring down his damage overall. I think that would be the way to do it. But playing him a little bit here, I did feel like it was slightly noticeable, these changes, and it did kind of prevent him from just running up and doing tons of damage. So I think Leon's going to be one of those brawlers that's always in the talks of does he need to be buffed, does he need to be nerfed, etc., etc. So yeah, guys, that's all I got for this sneak peek of the balance changes. Let me know what you think down below in that comment section, and make sure to subscribe and stay tuned to the channel for future sneak peeks on covering this update that should come out soon, and it's gonna be pretty exciting. So guys, thanks so much for watching. That is going to wrap it up for the video today. What else do we got to show you? There's a bunch of new maps, so let's just show you those really quickly here. I'm going to go to a friendly event, and we're going to go to here. So there's a few new maps. I'm not going to get into all of them, because honestly some of them are just name changes and they're the same map, so it's kind of confusing. But you see right here, I'm just going to go over every single one. And yeah, like I said, some of them are the same. Like this is the same, sorry, Dune Drift is a new one actually, but which one was it? Chill Cave, Echo Cavern. I think. I don't know, guys. Some of them there's a lot of new maps. There's a ton of new maps coming, so be excited for that. It's going to be it's going to be exciting to see all this stuff, guys. So make sure to stay tuned to the channel for more. Thank you so much for watching. That is going to wrap up the video today. Make sure to leave a like if you found it interesting, entertaining, or informative, and we'll see you next one, guys. Checking out.